In Queen Adama's kingdom, thirst had a sound. It was the crackle of riverbeds turning to dust, the rasp of withered crops scraping against the barren earth, and the silent, hollow gaze of children staring into empty wells. Despair was a sickness that spread faster than any plague, and from her palace balcony, Queen Adama felt its suffocating weight. Her crown, once a symbol of prosperity, now felt like a leaden burden, heavy with the suffering of her people. As she watched the sun beat down upon her dying land, a faint whisper of wind brushed her cheek. It was a phantom touch, a fleeting coolness in the oppressive heat, but it felt like a summons. Driven by an instinct she couldn't explain, Adama descended into the royal library, a place of forgotten knowledge and dusty silence. The air hung thick and still, each scroll a testament to a greener, wetter past. She ran her fingers over ancient texts, searching for a miracle, for any sliver of hope. And then she found it, tucked away in a brittle manuscript bound in desert leather. The prophecy was simple, yet terrifying. When the land withers and the skies forget their tears, only by binding herself to the wind can a ruler save her people. As she read the words, an insane gust stirred the room, fluttering the aged pages as if in confirmation. The wind knew she was listening. That evening, as twilight painted the horizon in streaks of blood red and bruised purple, Queen Adama began her ascent. She climbed the lonely, jagged cliff at the edge of her kingdom, a place where the world met the sky. The wind grew stronger with each step, pulling at her robes, whispering forgotten names in her ear. When she finally reached the summit, she stood against the vast, empty expanse, a solitary figure ready to make an impossible choice. Taking a deep breath, she called out into the growing dark, her voice steady and clear. "I give myself to you, mighty wind, so that my people may live." Silence followed, a heavy, expectant pause. Then, the air itself seemed to answer. A voice ancient and powerful echoed from the gusts swirling around her. "Your courage honors your heart, but remember, the bond is not without risk." Before she could reply, the wind rose into a violent cyclone, wrapping around her like 1,000 invisible arms. The force was overwhelming, a raw, untamed power that stole the air from her lungs. It tore the crown from her head, a flash of gold swallowed by the storm, and in that moment, she was no longer just a queen. She was part of something wilder. The bargain was sealed. As if on cue, thunder roared across the heavens, and lightning split the sky. Below, in the parched villages, the first heavy drops of rain began to fall, lashing against the hardened earth. People cowered in their homes, not yet understanding that this terrifying storm was their salvation. The dawn broke to a world transformed. Streams once choked with dust, now gushed with life, their waters rushing to fill the empty riverbeds. The sound of laughter replaced the silence of despair as children splashed in newly formed puddles, their faces turned up to the clean, cool air. Hope had returned to the kingdom, a vibrant green shoot pushing through cracked soil. But Adama knew this gift came with a price, a cost not yet revealed. As she walked through the rejuvenated fields, she heard a whisper rustling through the leaves of the trees. "I am freedom, not possession," the wind murmured, a gentle but firm reminder. "Honor me, or I shall rage." A shiver traced its way down her spine. She had not conquered a force. She had sworn an oath to one, and it was a power far beyond her control. The kingdom celebrated with a feast of renewal. Tables overflowed with the first fruits of a miraculous harvest, and music filled the streets. Joy was a tangible thing, a warmth that spread through the crowd. Yet, amidst the revelry, Adama felt a strange and persistent tugging at her soul, a restless energy that mirrored the breeze weaving through the village. The wind was always with her now, a constant presence at the edge of her senses. She was its anchor to the mortal world, and it was her kingdom's lifeline. But this alliance was fragile. One afternoon, as she held council in the throne room, a sudden, furious gale tore through the palace, shattering the grand stained glass windows into 1,000 glittering shards. It was a test, a violent display of power to remind her of its untamed nature. The wind was not her servant. The nights became the hardest. Alone in her chambers, the wind would bring her voices from across the land. They were whispers carried on the breeze, a farmer's prayer for a healthy crop, a lover's secret sigh, a child's fearful whimper in the dark. But there were other voices too, darker ones filled with pleas, warnings, and temptations. The wind showed her glimpses of things that were, and things that might be, blurring the line between truth and madness. Was it sharing its boundless knowledge, or was it trying to break her spirit? She no longer knew. The weather grew unpredictable. Gentle rains would turn to violent hailstorms in an instant. Calms were shattered by destructive gusts that flattened fields and tore roofs from houses. Fear began to curdle the kingdom's newfound hope. The villagers, who once hailed her as their savior, now whispered that their queen had angered the skies. They saw the storms not as a force of nature, but as a reflection of her own inner turmoil. The bomb that saved them was now threatening to become a curse, and Adama knew she had to prove them wrong. She had to restore the balance before her people's fear turned to rebellion. Once more, she returned to the lonely cliff where it all began. This time, she faced a raging tempest, a storm born of doubt and fear. Lightning illuminated her defiant figure as she stood against the howling gale. The wind shrieked around her, a chaotic symphony of fury. It dared her to command it, to try and control it. But Adama had learned her lesson. She did not raise her voice to fight it. Instead, she spoke with a quiet humility that cut through the noise. "I do not command you," she said, her words a promise to the storm itself. "I honor you. Together, we protect this land." There was no demand, only an offering of respect. And in that moment of profound understanding, the fury began to subside. The howling wind softened into a murmur, the torrential rain eased into a gentle shower, and the storm dissolved into a soft, cleansing breeze. The sky cleared, revealing a moonlit landscape where fields of grain swayed in perfect, peaceful harmony. Balance was restored. The wind was not ruled, but respected. The queen was not a master, but a partner. From her vantage point on the cliff, Queen Adama watched over her thriving kingdom, the gentle wind, a constant, reassuring companion. Her people would tell the story for generations, a legend of the queen who married the wind. They never forgot that true leadership is not about wielding power, but about the selfless courage to make a bold sacrifice and the wisdom to honor the forces you cannot control. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like and subscribe for more tales from the edge of imagination.